let's get into NXT from December 19th, 2023. Nothing much on the news and notes, but this was a lot of show. NXT decided to do a lot in this final NXT of the year. I think this is the last NXT of the year, if I remember correctly. No, next week is the last one of the year. But I think it's taped, if I remember correctly. I know this one was taped, but I think next one is taped too. Anyway, Tiffany Stratton versus Fallon Henley. Fallon Henley actually wins a very quick match with a very quick roll-up. So quick, in fact, that you probably wouldn't even notice that she won this match. Tiffany Stratton continued to beat her up after the match, and then she mopped her. She mopped Fallon Henley. That was hilarious. And then she covered her in garbage and trash while calling her trash. This was excellent heel stuff. I've never seen anybody get mopped in public before. I've never seen anybody get mopped in private either, but I've never seen anybody get mopped in public. Somebody just take a wet mop and just rub it up and down your body. It's got to be the utmost in disrespect. High level disrespect. Then you're covered in garbage. I've seen that happen before, but man, I ain't never seen nobody get mopped before, so that's new. Later, Tiffany Stratton challenged Fallon Henley to a match next week, said that if she wins that match, Fallon Henley should be her servant because Fallon Henley will never be her no matter what she does, no matter how hard she trains, no matter how hard she works. And then Fallon Henley says that when she sees Tiffany Stratton, she sees somebody who never had to work a day in her life, and she doesn't know what hard work is. So I'm guessing they're going to do the winner has to be the loser's servant, and they're not going to go with just if Fallon Henley wins or loses, then she has to be Tiffany Stratton's servant. Because that pretty much gives it away at that point. If you make it either or, could be the servant, then you could make it a little bit more of a toss-up. But if Fallon Henley has to win or become Tiffany Stratton's servant, that's going to be real rough. Because that's almost a guarantee that Fallon Henley is going to win again. But I'm enjoying this little mini feud they got going on here. In terms of Tiffany Stratton losing this match, nobody's going to remember it anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. And her feud with Fallon Henley is making some sense. Hey, I like it. Speaking of I like it, Trick Williams, he's backstage with Carmelo Hayes. He says Carmelo Hayes looked like money on SmackDown. Melo apologized for last Tuesday hitting him with the belt and all. Says that and then suggested foolishly that they should make the New Year's Evil Championship match a triple threat match. To which Trick Williams says, no, I won the Iron Survivor Challenge so I can wrestle for the title. Then said that Carmelo Hayes won all his championships one-on-one, so he has to do the same thing. Then Melo said, but look, man, don't it matter that as long as one of us got it, then that's good, right? And then Trick Williams was like, nah, it does matter. But he says that he wanted Melo to help him train, to which he says, yeah, he agrees to help him train. So while Trick Williams is backstage doing that, Ilya Dragunov is in the ring talking about how he doesn't understand how he got wrapped up in this bromance of Trick and Carmelo, even though he has been wrapped up in it for months already due to his feuding off and on with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams individually. Then he says all he's got is his move to the U.S. to show everybody that he uses his body as a weapon to be the champion that title deserves. He is then interrupted by Ridge Holland, who says he's back in NXT to rewrite his story. And he says his career has been a series of unfortunate events, from injuries to accidents. He's there to prove himself, and he wants to earn redemption to prove that he belongs in the main event. And he's going to go through everyone in backstage until he gets to this moment again, which is him standing in the ring with Ilya Dragunov. Dragunov is tired of people interrupting him. He's tired of people getting in his face. He's tired of this stuff. He says, there's no need to wait. We can fight tonight. This, of course, Ridge Holland is not an idiot. He accepts that. But Trick Williams is not happy. He's not happy at all. He wants to have this match tonight. And he thinks that if Ridge Holland wins, it's going to become a triple threat match. So he don't want that at all. So he goes to face Ilya Dragunov, and Ilya Dragunov says, look, I'm the champion. You're the challenger. The champion dictates terms to the challenger. I'm doing this, but I'm going to win this match. He pretty much guaranteed it. He goes out there and he wrestles Ridge Holland, and Ridge Holland does like a package DDT, and Ilya Dragunov starts doing what they call a fencing position, which is an unnatural movement of his body, where he basically is stiff with his arm kind of tweaked out a little bit, and the referee calls for the match to stop as they put Ilya Dragunov on a stretcher. It's dead quiet on commentary. Commentary says nothing. Then they load him up. Ridge Holland is very upset. He's like, why does this keep happening to me? He's took off his elbow pad and spiked it into the mat, and he's looking kind of disgusted with himself. And the crowd, of course, is buying into that Ilya Dragunov might have gotten hurt in this match, and they're clapping. And this is what we saw last week when people were looking at the spoilers. They were like, oh no, Ridge Holland is a dumb big old idiot. He hurt Ilya Dragunov. He killed him. It's time for him to go bye-bye. But in reality, as per the usual, it was a storyline. They left out the part where they cut the promo earlier in the night about this. So Ridge Holland came back to NXT to prove something. And this is what he was trying to prove, that he, was a professional and all this kind of stuff. And then this happened to him. Well, it didn't really happen to him. It happened to Ilya. But you get my drift. That he was trying to prove that he was, I guess, a safe performer, that he was a professional and everything. And he ended up hurting this guy. And he ended up losing his opportunity because he didn't win the match. He just injured Ilya Dragunov. So I love this. This is a great story element. Because now Trick Williams is a guy who his title match is in jeopardy. If Dragunov is seriously injured, then one of two things happens. Either A, the match has to get put off, and Trick Williams is pissed, and so is the fans, and that's going to turn Ridge Holland heel, which is what everybody wants, apparently. Or B, Dragunov fights through it and loses. That puts an asterisk on Trick Williams' victory. That means that he won. He did win, technically. But it would not be a clean victory because Dragunov wasn't 100%. So this is a very, very good angle for them to do. And to do it right now, very timely. I like this. This is great. Ridge Holland is a good talent. He was good in NXT UK. He was good here. I know that he has had some struggles with, injuring people and stuff like that, being a little reckless, but this is a guy who I think he's still under 5 years in the business. I think he's probably got like 3 and some change. He hasn't been around for a long time, but they're leaning into the perception. The perception of Ridge Holland is that he's unsafe. So now they're starting to lean into that perception, and they're going to lead the fans to believe that you get into the ring of Ridge Holland, you could possibly be hurt. That could be the last match you have for a long time. And I've seen people say this is tasteless. This is not right. This is a miss. This is not good. It's like, look, this is exactly what Paul Heyman did. This how you think Chris Benoit got the Crippler nickname? He got the Crippler nickname when he broke Sabu's neck. That's where it came from. Was it tasteless then? When Stan Hansen broke Bruno Sammartino's neck, yeah, Vince McMahon was pretty mad about it. And about Vince McMahon, I mean Vince McMahon Sr. He was pretty mad about it, but he made sure that the fans knew it so that when Stan Hansen wrestled Bruno again, he could draw more money. This is business. In the business, if there's a perception that a guy is dangerous or that he can hurt you, that's good. It's not necessarily bad. It's bad if he really did hurt you. Okay, in which Stan Hansen, sometimes he did really hurt people. And I've read his book, and yeah, he has to admit that sometimes he, went out there and literally hurt people because he was being reckless. Ridge Holland is similar. He was being reckless a couple of times, hurt people, hurt himself. But this is one of those times where they're basically just using it for heat. And they're using it very effectively because we're 2 weeks before the big match with Trick Williams, and he got into this, I guess you would call it a dick measuring contest with Ridge Holland, and ended up getting injured. This is great storytelling here. So they could do something slick, like maybe put the NXT championship up for grabs and say that, Dragunov can't defend the title, and therefore Trick Williams is going to win it by forfeit, and then he can refuse to take it. There's a lot of different options that you can have here, and that makes it intriguing television. So this is good. You can tell it's basically a storyline. So storyline injuries are perfectly fine with me. I do find it ironic that people are getting real tight-assed about it because they did the whole post-concussion syndrome storyline with Owen Hart where he kicked Shawn Michaels in the back of the head and then Shawn, fainted and all this kind of stuff. This was in 95 leading into 96. And then from 97 leading into 98, Owen really did drop Stone Cold Steve Austin on his head. And then they used that as a storyline too. Owen 316, I just broke your neck. So a lot of people are like, this is tasteless. Why would you do this? It brings up such bad feelings of Big E. It's like, yeah, it's Big E literally got hurt. The guy from Pretty Deadly literally got hurt. They're literally using the storyline where he's basically going to be the crippler. He's the guy who's going to, put you in the hospital. That's good. It's only bad if he continues to legitimately hurt people, which we don't know he will or won't. I'm pretty sure he's going to hurt somebody else. I mean, it's just the nature of the business. People get hurt when you have matches. All right. Breakout tournament stuff. Lexis King defeated Dion Lennox. I know there's a lot of people on the internet upset about Dion Lennox losing. He's the sexiest man alive, from my understanding. So many people think he's the sexiest guy to ever come out of the chute. So I know they're pretty upset about Dion Lennox losing his first match, especially to smiling ass Lexis King. As soon as Lexis King won, Trey Bearhill shows up with a chair and chases Lexis King off. Lexis King says that he hasn't earned the right to fight him yet, so he's not going to fight Trey Bearhill. The guy's name is Bearhill. That's a damn cool name. That's a hell of a name. It's not like the most Indian name of all time, but it's pretty close. Pretty damn close to an Indian name. Tavion Heights defeated Luca Cristofano. Luca Cristofano has the People's Court remix theme song. That's great. I noticed that immediately. That's great. Tavion Heights is pretty cool. I don't know why he's lazy with his suplexes. Like he did his overhead belly to belly. He didn't even go down or lean backwards. He just kind of threw his hands up, and then the guy's just supposed to do a somersault over his head. It's like it would help if you would go with him. Like that. He'll learn it in time. He's a young guy. Of watching the young guys, they seem to be doing okay. Dion Lennox is a really big kid. He might have a future. His gimmick is he's Gohan from Dragon Ball, I guess, where he takes his little glasses off and he just starts snarling. I don't know what that is. Tavion Heights he got bouncy hair. I'm pretty sure all the black women are like, how did he get his hair so bouncy and curly like this? Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder that myself. How did he get his hair so bouncy and curly like that? Somebody got to ask Tavion Heights what kind of shampoo he uses. Not that I want to use it or anything like that. I'm just, Christmas is coming up, and I want to get some stocking stuffers for the young ladies. So the tournament is almost over. Lexis King is going to be having a match with Oh, Riley Osborne, the kid from Chase University. Okay. And shit. Tavion Heights is the wrestler Obafemi. All right, that's cool. Uh, I can see it being Lexus King and Obafemi in the finals. All right, that works for me. Eddie Thorpe, the LGBT Tatanka, says that it's been a trial by fire year for him, and how tough it's been on himself and his family. Then says that the ropes cannot contain them anymore, so let's get rid of them. He wants to have an NXT Underground fight with Dijak, to which Dijak accepted, to which I also accept because I'm cool with NXT Underground. I like it. Not much to say. I don't like Eddie Thorpe. I don't like Dijak. Let's just do our thing. At least put them in a situation that I do like. All right, Kiana James and Izzy Dame defeated JC Jane and Thea Hale. All these names rhyming. Jane, James, and Dame. Oh my goodness. Oof. Okay. So, Izzy Dame. This is like the second or third match she's had. One thing I want to give her credit for is she's going for it. She's not timid in the way that a lot of new talent is, where they try to, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to do it. That was the thing I liked about the Creed brothers. Like, yeah, they're reckless, but the Creed brothers are completely going for it. Like, people have been giving the Creed brothers a lot of trouble for the Brutus Ball, which, yeah, the Brutus Ball is crazy. But some of the other nutty stuff that they do physically, but them throwing themselves around is what got them over. Like, this is what works for them. They'll learn. They'll rein it in eventually, but let them get over right now doing crazy stuff, and then we'll peel it back a little bit later. But Izzy Dame, she doesn't go out there and do crazy stuff, but she's going for it. Like, in terms of personality and being aggressive and not afraid to overcommit to moves sometimes. Overcommitting sometimes is better than undercommitment. Like, there's nothing worse when you can tell somebody is working through the spot. And by that I mean you're waiting for the counter. You're waiting for your punch to be ducked. You're waiting for the kick to be ducked, or you're going to stand your position until the guy grabs your leg or rolls you up or whatever he's supposed to do. There's nothing worse than that. Izzy Dame is apparently not doing that. She's going for it. Like, she's not holding it up, which is good. Thea Hale looked good here too. They told the story that she was trying to impress Riley Osborne in the crowd, who is, of course, the other student at Chase University who was in the tournament. And that's why she ended up losing, because she was trying to impress him. And Izzy Dame just kicked her in the goddamn forehead and pinned her. It's clear to me already that Izzy Dame is going to be somebody that's going to be interesting. She's showing a little bit of personality already. She's already struggling not to upstage Kiana James. And look, Kiana James is good. But even watch their entrance again. Izzy Dame was actually in character before Kiana James even got on the frame. So she had to, settle down a little bit. But I'm telling you, she might be something. I'm not saying that just because she's, great or anything. I'm just saying I see potential already, because I like how she seems to be going for it. I would much rather you overcommit than undercommit. I cannot stand watching people work their way through stuff. The women's locker room segment, because there's so many of them. There's 2 of them on this show, though. Roxanne Perez is very upset that Kiana James and Izzy Dame won their match. And then Ariana Grace tells her that she needs to learn good sportsmanship. Now, not everything is about wins and losses. And so Roxanne Perez smacked her in the face and said it's all about wins and losses. Which is like, wow. I mean, she's just the person that gets smacked in the face all of a sudden. So, wow. So Ariana starts whining and crying and wondering if she's still pretty after she got smacked in the face. So they're going to have a match at some upcoming point. Later in the show, Cora Jade is back in NXT, so she came to reclaim her locker. But apparently, since she was gone, they gave it away to Carmen Petrovich. And so while Carmen wasn't in the locker room, Cora Jade dumped her stuff on the floor and took her locker back, which I gotta say took a lot of balls. And Gigi Dolan is an instigator. Like, why are babyfaces instigating? Like, that's the weirdest thing. Like, babyfaces being very instigating on this show. And suggested that she take care of or deal with, which I think was her exact words, Cora Jade, because nobody likes her anyway. So, okay, I don't have a problem with any of that. Like it even. So the funny segment, Andre Chase is shooting dice with OTM, and he is disheveled. For starters, he's shooting dice. Anytime that the brothers are shooting dice on NXT, you know they're going overboard, okay? Second, he is completely disheveled. His hair looks completely uncombed. Duke Hudson is out there in a hoodie with the hood pulled over his head and his hands in the pockets. He looks completely suspicious. Everything about this is really over the top. So, as he's winning, they're telling Andre Chase, "Look, you're winning. Just take your winnings and go. Like you got an opportunity to pay down on your debt. Take your winnings and go." So he's like, "No, nobody tell me to just take my money and run." But then he says, "Well, I got an idea." So he decides to have a match between himself, Duke Hudson, and OTM. And if they win double the money. So it's double or nothing for Andre Chase. OTM, however, say, "Well, what's in it for us?" And say, "Well, if we win, we want a tag team championship match." So at this point, at this point, well, Andre Chase cannot promise that Tony D'Angelo is going to go for it. So out of nowhere, here comes the super Italian young lady. I think her name is Adrienne Rizzo. Is that her name? Anyway, she shows up and she calls Tony D'Angelo on the phone and is like, "Yeah, he's out here making deals. He's gambling again." So Tony D'Angelo accepts the deal on behalf of Chase University that if OTM wins, they will give them a championship match. But this is a dead giveaway that the people who Andre Chase owes money to is Tony D'Angelo, right? That's obvious at this point, right? That he owes Tony D'Angelo money. Why else would she be there? Why else would she? She doesn't hang out with them. She wasn't even hanging out with them. She literally came out of nowhere. To do this particular scene, just to call this guy on the phone. That's crazy. That's nutty. But it was fun. All right, so North American Championship, Dragon Lee defeat Charlie Dempsey and Joe Coffey. So the plan was for him to wrestle only a member of No Quarter Catch Crew, which was Drew Gulak's team. That's the name of his team. Joe Coffey then crashed the match before the bell rang and ended up giving Dragon Lee the option of choosing one or the other, and he chose both because, he's a babyface, even though he's an idiot. And it really doesn't make sense for you to do that because we had a week to figure this out, right? So Charlie Dempsey, Baby Regal, he's out there. Every time Baby Regal is on the screen, people start getting real tense in the booty about it because he's the reason William Regal left and all this kind of stuff. So they're like, we don't like this kid. He gets a lot of unnecessary hate for that reason. It got nothing to do with him personally. It got everything to do with, well, his daddy left AEW to hang out with him, so we gotta hate him, right? It's ridiculous. Anyway, he didn't do too bad here. Joe Coffey was so much better in NXT UK. It's almost embarrassing what they got going on with this guy now. And what further embarrassment is that Joe Gacy pulled him under the ring from like, I don't understand what this beef between Joe Gacy and Joe Coffey is all about. And to be quite honest, I don't care. I literally don't give a shit anymore. I don't care about this. Also, Gallus defeated Hank and Tank. There was far too many matches on this show. There was way too many matches on this show. Dragon Lee wins. The match was solid. I would have preferred Dragon Lee versus Charlie Dempsey one-on-one, though. You know, that's just me personally. They did a video for Lyra, Valkyria, and Blair Davenport, which is pretty good. They followed that up with Nikita Lyons saying that she's back to take out Tatum Paxley and Blair Davenport, both of them for putting their hands on her. And so she had a match with Tatum Paxley, but she also said she wants to be the women's champion, which everybody knew that was going to be the case. So Nikita Lyons defeated Tatum Paxley, and she did the splits again. I know that's her thing, but how many times is she going to have to tear her hamstring, MCL, ACL, and all of her meniscus, and all that, tear everything in her legs before she stopped doing it? I think she's carrying too much body weight to keep doing the splits. It just doesn't seem to make sense to keep doing it. It's not even super impressive anymore. Like, it was the first couple of times, but you don't need to do it now. You know, you can just do a regular pin and not tear yourself up. But, okay. Nikita, man, she's been everywhere. I just found out she was on a reality TV show. I know people probably say, well, you should have been known that. But I didn't. She was on some other, what is this? What was it called? I wrote it down just in case I won't remember. One More Chance. She was on, it's like, what the hell? How many people from NXT currently were on some kind of reality TV show? I know Gigi Dolan was, and Nikita Lyons was. I'm sure there were others, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. You know, there's a lot of wrestlers now who are coming from reality TV. Like, The Miz really opened the door. He really paved the way. And people are not going to give him any credit for it because he was one of the first ones to do it. To step from reality TV into pro wrestling. Even though she does have a wrestling background doing WOW and everything, but she was doing reality TV. That's crazy. Okay, Noam Dar and the Metaphor, they're very excited. They accepted Josh Briggs' challenge from last week for a Heritage Cup Championship match. Briggs was very excited for this, but didn't want Brooks Jensen or Fallon Henley in his corner for the match. Says he's got to fly solo on this one, and he doesn't think that Jensen would understand why he wants to go by himself. Maybe it's because that's the best chance for success is to go alone. I'm okay with it. Look, Dar, as this Heritage Cup champion, it's run its course for me. But the Metaphor is fun. So, you know, keep playing the hot hand. People are liking the Metaphor. So, keep going with it, I guess. But, so NXT had a lot of content on today's show. I mean, a lot. It was like a lot of matches, like 8 matches. A lot of them were short. So, but it was very tiring. You know, there was a lot of segments. Nothing ended, but they did throw some curveballs in there. The big curveball, of course, is the Ilya Dragunov injury angle, which to me is excellent. I love it. I like this idea that Dragunov has built up this great match with Trick Williams, and now it's in jeopardy. You know, and Trick Williams was waiting for that match, told Ilya not to take the match. He took it anyway because he's Ilya Dragunov. He's going to do whatever he wants. And now he's gotten injured and the match could be over because that's how it happens in a lot of, boxing and, MMA and stuff like that. A guy says, look, I'm the next, challenger. Then the champion goes off, thinks he's going to have himself a tune-up match. He ends up getting cut during training or something like that, and then the match is canceled. So, that's really great. Now, I know it sucks for, like, New Year's Evil, but they might go through with it and giving Trick Williams the title in terms of him just being, or Dragunov just being injured, or they may try to give it to Trick on forfeit or something like that. But I'm very interested in what they're going to do. And this will be a perfect way to write off Dragunov to lose the belt without him actually getting beat. You know, like I know he should put somebody over, and I think he will. But if you're going to call him up or do something and you're not going to have him get beat, this would be a good way to do it, because he could just come back and he'll still have the feud with Ridge Holland, and then he can go back to chasing his title. And I think people will be interested in that. But I'm going too far, because I'm not saying that they're going to strip him. I don't think that's going to happen. All right. Most of everything on here show was okay. It was just a loaded show with a lot of lower level talent. Mixing it in. Like, they didn't give you, there was no Braun Breaker this week, which is like, why not? Why is there no Braun Breaker at all this week? Why did we limit Tiffany Stratton so much? I get that you wanted to get the match in the ring and get it out and build to the next match, but we probably could have spent a little bit more time with her, at the very least, on her promo or something, or just have her promo after the match rather than in a separate segment. Other than that, you know, Lyra Valkyria probably could have made an appearance, but she's not good at cutting promos anyway, so it don't matter. There's just, it was a lot happening, but it's at the same time it felt like nothing happened. It's hard to explain in that way, but you know, that's basically how it was. It was like there was so much going on that it felt like nothing was going on. You know, but maybe it was just my level of interest, especially in the Hank and Tank stuff, and you know, I didn't care a damn about that at all. And the Joe Gacy and Gallus stuff, I don't understand what's going on, so I don't really care. But the Trick Williams and Carmelo, Ilya Dragunov stuff is ace. That's top level material. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.